1 opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. And next up, we will move to the second item of special business. And this is the reason for decision and revised conditions of approval. So the findings document related to CUP 2126. And Josh, go ahead and start, and then we'll see if council has any questions or things they want to weigh in on. Then I've got a couple of things to say.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. On April 25th, 2022, council upheld the appeal of CUP 2126 by Interfaith Sanctuary with direction to staff to return with revised findings and a reasoned statement and conditions of approval. We have distributed the memo to council that has the appeal findings, the reasoned statement, and the revised conditions of approval for adoption today. We are recommending 2 very slight changes to the reasoned statement. In 2 places where the word home is used, we would recommend inserting shelter to reference that as a shelter home. So in the first paragraph and the 4th paragraph of the reasoned statement, we would recommend that change. With that, if council is in agreement, we would recommend adoption of the findings and conditions of approval today. And I will stand for any questions. Thank you.
Any questions for Josh?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Not a question, but thank you for taking what was a very long and convoluted record and producing what I thought was a very clear document that got to the heart of what we found that night and included in the correct language all of the things that we wanted to add as conditions. I appreciate the addition of shelter to the word home in those first and fourth paragraphs of the reasoned statement. I think it will make the document more consistent overall as we use shelter in many other places. And it wasn't quite clear that was referring to the same thing. So I appreciate those changes.
Right, I think that's it, Josh. I'll just say, just so council and the public are aware, the hearings that we had, I think we said that night, were unprecedented in the amount of time spent reviewing the record, the amount of time spent asking questions and getting to the crux of what Planning and Zoning Commission said we needed to get to. And I just want to make it clear from our perspective as a city and as an administrator, from that moment forward, we've worked with our team here to ensure that as this process moves forward, the shelter home moves forward, that our city is ready to deliver on the expectations set forth in these conditions. We know that, and each of our department heads that was part of that hearing is here with us tonight. And we've gathered since that meeting to begin discussing how we provide service to those that need it, that will be new residents in the neighborhood, and at the same time, ensure that the conditions that you created to work with the neighborhood are implemented.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I look forward to that. With that, I would move approval of CUP 21-26, reason for decision and revised conditions of approval as presented.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Is there discussion?
Madam Mayor, I just want to note that I took copious notes throughout the hearing, including all of the conditions and everything as discussed. I've examined these conditions and this reason for decision against those notes and find them to be very consistent and much better worded than anything that I wrote down that night, but very much getting at the intent of council in our conditions. So I want to thank staff for that.
Madam Mayor, I just want to note that we've got the dates that are on here. It doesn't necessarily describe the hours, the lift, the work that every single person, staff, council members, planning and zoning put into it. It's probably the only thing that it doesn't truly copy is how much work went in there. But the background is correct. The attachments are correct. The appeal findings are correct. The reason statement is correct. The conditions of approval are all basically what we put together in that. So with that huge record, I do think that this, succinctly describes the reason statement there. So certainly going to be in support of this. I do appreciate the change of the word home to shelter because it's not a home. And that really is our end goal here, making sure that we are putting people in permanent housing solutions and that this is really a step to get them there. So that really is a very small change as far as the words go, but it's a very important one because I think that that really needs to describe our long-term commitment to getting folks into a home.
I'm there. As I noted, I believe that this document does reflect the record as we produced it over the hearings those nights. I too took copious notes and reviewed it against those notes and found it to match. I'd like to note that I appreciate Madam Mayor's commitment to ensuring that these conditions are upheld, that they're followed. And I want to make a commitment to the community, knowing that this was a very difficult decision, knowing that we'll have 2 council members who will not vote with us today, understanding exactly why that is, because this wasn't an easy decision and there are many sides to it, that this is designed to ensure that the neighborhood, in fact, does not suffer undue harm, undue burden from this decision. And that will depend on ensuring that these conditions are upheld and upheld fully. And I'm glad to hear, not that I doubted it, that the mayor is committed to that, that the staff is committed to that. And I know that this council is committed to overseeing that. So this isn't the end, this is the beginning. And I hope what it's the beginning of is better serving those who need this shelter. I think there is an opportunity here that we only get occasionally, and we have that opportunity right now to do something, not just what we can, but something better. And I make the commitment to try and see that through.
Madam Mayor. Yes. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I appreciate the council president's words highlighting the conditions that are in place. I don't know if my colleagues have received comments from folks with strong emotions about the decision that we made, not unanimously, but that has been what I have shared with folks, is there are 29 conditions, I believe, in place that must be met and that we are held accountable to by our community, as we should be. But as we've learned over the last couple of years, we have had to push ourselves to meet the needs of everyone in our community, certainly those who are most vulnerable in our community. And I feel that we had to do everything we possibly could to make sure that folks are adequately cared for, certainly having the basic needs of having shelter. So for that reason, I am grateful to staff for all their hard work. I'm grateful to Madam Mayor. I can't think of another issue where we have spent quite this much time making sure that we were looking at every possible option and giving the community so much opportunity to give input, to truly, really give this the consideration that it needed. And so I thank Madam Mayor for doing that for our community. That's all I have to say.
Right, clerk, we call the roll?
Willetts,
No.
Woodings,
Yes.
Agent,
No.
Clegg,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
4 in favor, 2 opposed, motion carries.
Well, thank you, everybody. Do we have an executive session? Okay, we do not have an executive session. So with that, we are done with the city council meeting, but we are not adjourning. Of course, everybody here can leave if you need to, except for all of our department heads, of course. And we're going to move back into the budget conversation. And with that, we'll pull up Chief Lee will head to the dais one more time to now, after having covered the impact in the last year, the look ahead for 23.